before Gabriel ever spoke her name. Before the world called her blessed. Mary was just a young girl hidden in the quiet hills of Nazareth. She lived far from palaces and temples, in a village so small it barely appeared on maps. Her days were simple, rising with the dawn to draw water, weave linen, and pray beneath olive trees. But within that simplicity burned a heart unlike any other. From childhood, Mary was known for her silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of someone who listened deeply. While other children laughed and played, she lingered near the synagogue, watching the old men read from the scrolls of Moses. She would whisper to herself the words of the prophets. Behold, a virgin shall conceive, not knowing one day those words would point to her. Her father, Joachim, often told her, "Child, the world may never see greatness in Nazareth, but heaven does." Her mother, Anne, taught her that purity was not just of the body, but of the soul, a clarity that lets light pass through. And so Mary grew, not as royalty, but as a vessel being formed in secret. A soul being shaped for something the world wasn't ready to understand. The young men of Nazareth noticed her gentleness, but something about her kept them silent, as though she carried a mystery too sacred to touch. She never sought attention. She found beauty in humility, power in surrender, and purpose in obedience. When the village mocked her family's poverty, she turned the other cheek, believing that God dwelt not in marble halls, but in hearts that trust. At dawn, she often climbed the hillside overlooking the valley. There, she prayed not for fame or riches, but that her life, however small, would somehow please the Lord. The world below her stirred with merchants, noise, and ambition. But within her, heaven was already moving, preparing a meeting that would change creation forever. What no one knew was that for years, angels had watched her life unfold. Each act of kindness, each hidden prayer, each moment she chose purity over pride became a light that drew heaven closer. And when the time was right, when her heart had been proven faithful in the secret places, the silence of Nazareth was broken by the sound of wings. Gabriel didn't come to a queen. He came to a servant. To a girl who had nothing, yet carried everything heaven desired, a willing heart. And in that moment before her, yes, the entire universe seemed to hold its breath. Because the story of salvation was waiting for the voice of a young woman who had lived quietly, loving God when no one was watching. So before the angel's visit, there was a hidden life. A girl who prayed in the shadows. A soul refined by obedience. A heart strong enough to cradle eternity. Mary's greatness didn't begin with Gabriel's words. It began long before, in the stillness of her ordinary days, when she learned that true holiness is not what heaven sees in a moment, but what it finds in a lifetime of faith.